Now at 5, I'm Kaelee Collins with the role that an online app played in an hours-long lockdown at the middle and high school here in Portland.
Another brush fire in our state, and some residents are concerned that more will continue to occur due to the lack of rain. I'm Cayla Cade, and I'll tell you more about the fire and what one town hall member says will happen if you burn anything under extreme fire risk.
A New London police officer is facing domestic violence charges. I'm Julia LeBlanc, and we'll give you the details from court documents coming up.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good morning, everyone. It is 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. I am sure glad you're with us to get things going. I'm Keith McGilvery. We're getting started with a check of the forecast. Meteorologist Rachel Piscitelli. Boy, do I have the right partner for bucket lists, because this just seems to work out perfectly every season.
Oh, absolutely. Our plans for indoors when it's going to rain on point, as well as when it's going to be beautiful like today. Today is another 60-degree day with lots of sunshine, and it's a mild start with most of us starting off warmer than we did yesterday at this time. So we're in the 40s right now, near 50 degrees in the Elm City, around 45 degrees in Hartford, low 40s in Torrington and New Milford, so certainly chilly there like in northeastern Connecticut as well. Plan for the sunshine today. Temperatures up around 60 degrees later on today. Taking a look town by town here, 58 degrees in Trumbull later on, as well as in Waterbury, 59 in Bristol, up around 60 degrees from Middletown into Hartford, and in southeastern Connecticut in the upper 50s as well, Griswold 58. So we have lots of sunshine today. I think a few more clouds build in for our Wednesday, although it's still going to be dry. But as we approach Thursday, I don't think many folks will be complaining about this. We are getting some much needed rain. It will be a soggy afternoon with temperatures pretty chilly, only in the low 50s, which is sort of where we should be for this time of year. We'll time out those showers for you and walk you through the hour by hour so you can better prepare for that coming up in just a bit. On the roads this morning here, we do have some road work that's starting to wrap up at this hour. So over in the Fairfield County area, we're starting to see some delays from Darien to Westport at 9 minutes. Your travel speeds are averaging around 50 miles per hour northbound 95. The Merritt Parkway, Trumbull to Westport is fine this morning at 10. Bridgeport to Fairfield is 5. Keith, over to you.
Thank you, Rachel. 5:02, Portland Public Schools will have a delayed start today after a gun threat, later to be determined non-credible, led to an hours-long lockdown at the middle and high school yesterday. Police say they originally tipped off to the hoax threat through an anonymous reporting app, Say Something. Fox 61's Kaelee Collins is live outside Portland High School this morning with what we know. Kaelee, good morning.
Keith, good morning to you. A scary situation for all involved. The students at both the middle and high school here in Portland were on lockdown for over 5 hours as their parents just waited for some more answers. Now, police say that they received a report of that threat through that anonymous reporting app called Say Something. They said that they were alerted to a reported 7th grader at the middle school who had a gun and intended to shoot people. Now, the Say Something app was created by Sandy Hook Promise as a way of preventing school violence. It allows anybody to download the app and then submit a report of potential violence or a safety concern without having to disclose their identity. Now, take a look at this. I took a look at how this app works, how easy it is to download it on your phone. So here's what it looks like once you download it off of the App Store. It only takes a couple of seconds and it takes you to this menu here. At the top, you can see a couple of different options, but here is Submit a Tip. When you click on that, it'll give you the option to type in a potential or a school near you, wherever you want to make that report. For this purpose, I put in Portland Middle School. You click on that at the top, and then it'll bring you to a new drop-down menu that has a bunch of different options you can choose from as far as what your safety concern or the report you want to make is. I scrolled down to the bottom here, and you can choose weapons, as this 7th grader potentially did when making that report yesterday, and then it asks you a couple of different questions to fill out, and then scrolling down at the bottom here, you can submit your report. Now, this goes directly to police. We have reached out to Sandy Hook Promise for comment on the misuse of this reporting app, again, meant to allow anybody to make a safety concern report anonymously. We'll let you know as soon as we hear back from them. And coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll go a little bit deeper into this ongoing investigation into the incident, again, that led to a 5-hour lockdown at the middle and high school here in Portland. For now, we're live in Portland this morning. Kaelee Collins, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Kaylee, I really appreciate that demonstration as we all work to stay on top of this technology, so thank you for that, and we will see you again at 6 o'clock. It is 5:05. A New London police officer faces serious charges. He's accused of a domestic violence incident with his girlfriend. Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc has more from what happened in court yesterday.
29-year-old Julio Gil Martinez is out on bond and on paid administrative leave as this all plays out in court. At the same time, New London police are conducting an internal review of the case.
Your Honor, Family Relations is taking a referral on this matter.
A New London police officer, 29-year-old Julio Gil Martinez, is now answering to domestic violence charges brought against him. The charges include threatening, assault, strangulation, unlawful restraint, and interfering with an emergency call. Gil Martinez and his attorney didn't want to speak to reporters as they walked out of court. But a 10-page court document details a series of events leading up to this moment, involving a 2-month dating relationship between Gil Martinez and a 20-year-old woman. In those documents, Gil Martinez told officers they had a, quote, not always great relationship because he has some trust issues. The papers describe an incident in the early morning hours of November 14th at Gil Martinez's apartment, where the two lived together. Originally, Gil Martinez told officers his girlfriend, quote, stabbed him with a kitchen knife after he accused her of cheating. However, the woman told detectives the two got into a physical altercation where at one point, quote, the victim felt she couldn't breathe and thought she was going to die. The next day, officers were called to Gil Martinez's apartment when they say he was making suicidal statements to a coworker. The report says he eventually told police the victim was only trying to help him.
I'm surprised.
New London neighbors are now trying to process what happened.
Being a police officer, you're supposed to protect everyone, you know, not being violent.
Maybe they should go more in the background when they hire these officers, because we wouldn't really want someone protecting our streets and our kids when they're, you know, in their own relationships not really having the best.
The New London police chief is responding to the arrest of one of his officers, saying in part in a statement, quote, please be assured that we take matters like this very seriously and are committed to addressing this matter with the highest level of diligence. Now, Gil Martinez's bond was set at $75,000 and he's expected back in court in January. We are in New London. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Julia. And a reminder, if you or someone you know are in a relationship that's become violent, you can call either one of these phone numbers to reach the National Domestic Violence Hotline or the CT Safe Connect hotline. Each of their websites is also up on your screen. They're both available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There was another brush fire in Connecticut. In Andover, firefighters got a brush fire under control in about an hour yesterday. Firefighters say they were lucky the weather cooperated, but that's not always the case. Fox 61's Cayla Cade joins us with their message.
Andover Fire Chief tells me the fire was burning in the woods on private property adjacent to the forest. And with all the brush fires happening in our area, it's making some residents worry.
It was a concern to me both personally and as the town administrator.
Eric Anderson lives right across the street from where a brush fire burned 26 acres of land in Andover Monday.
The fire department was alerted about 5 o'clock in the morning to a potential fire somewhere between Wheeling Road and Bear Swamp Road.
When Andover volunteer firefighters arrived, Chief Ron Mike says they found a large area burning in the woods. Firefighters from Bolton, Columbia, and Coventry came with their brush equipment and tanker trucks to help.
We were able to gain access to a private residence that's closer to the fire than the actual road access. That was able to be able to get to the fire a lot quicker.
DEEP was called in for their resources as well.
They did some prescribed burning to burn off some of the fuels in the other areas adjacent to where the fire was.
The fire chief said since it was open hardwood terrain, it wasn't a lot of low undergrowth to the ground, and the weather allowed them to get their job done.
And the fire was burning pretty slow due to the fact that we had no winds this morning, which allowed us to get a quick knockdown on the fire. We were able to get the main body of the fire under control within 45 minutes or so.
Anderson says they had other small fires around their town.
Either somebody throwing a cigarette out the window or something like that. that have been contained pretty quickly. We did respond to an incident on Veterans Day where somebody had set a brush and leaf pile in their backyard on fire that caused an awful lot of smoke.
But there are some consequences to burning at this time, considering there's an extreme fire risk.
Theoretically, the penalties are up to 6 months in jail and a $200 fine.
Anderson hopes that with the expected rain in Thursday's forecast, the fire danger will go down substantially.
But it would take a fair amount of rain because we are in a level 2 drought in this area.
Anderson says the fire will be investigated by DEEP. In Andover, Cayla Cade, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
It is 5:10. A Connecticut mom accused of killing her 15-year-old daughter and hurting her son has been found not guilty. Judges ruled Naomi Bell was not guilty of those crimes due to, quote, a mental disease or defect. Bell was accused of the murder of her daughter and the attempted murder of her son, who was 7 years old at the time. Police say she shot her 2 children at their home in Plymouth back in November of 2020. Bell will undergo an evaluation and is due back in court in January. Breaking news this morning, Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a new doctrine that lowered the threshold for using nuclear weapons. This means that it will be easier for Russia to use nuclear weapons in times of conflict. This new doctrine comes days after President Biden approved Ukraine to use long-range ballistic missiles from the U.S. on Russia. The Kremlin says going forward, any conventional attack on Russia could warrant the use of nuclear force. The price you pay for your electric could be on the rise this winter when new rates go into effect for some companies, and how much more you may have to pay.
A win for Connecticut natural gas customers. Your bill will soon be a little bit cheaper. I'm Kay Pattyfoot in New Britain. We'll explain everything you need to know heading into the winter months.